In this video, we're going to look at simplifying expressions using order of operations. The steps for order of operations are first to look for grouping symbols. Remember, grouping symbols can be parentheses, brackets, braces, absolute value. So always do the grouping symbols first. And the goal of a grouping symbol is to get that grouping symbol down to one number. The second step is to look for exponents. The third step is to do multiplication and division, but you want to work left to right. So although I've listed multiplication first, it doesn't mean to do multiplication first. You're going to work left to right. And the last step is addition and subtraction, again, working left to right. The first problem we're going to simplify is 6 plus 18 divided by 3 times 4 plus 1. I do think it's very helpful to always say these problems out loud to yourself because then your brain starts processing what you're supposed to do. So notice that I don't have grouping symbols or exponents in this expression, but I do have division and multiplication. But since I work left to right, I'm first going to do the division. I'm going to do 18 divided by 3, which is 6. And then I'm going to bring the rest of my problem down just like it is. Now my new problem is 6 plus 6 times 4 plus 1. So now I'm going to do the multiplication. 6 times 4 is 24. And then I'll bring down the rest of my problem. Now my problem is 6 plus 24 plus 1. So I'm just going to add going left to right. So 6 plus 24 is 30, plus 1 is 31. So this expression simplifies to 31. Number 2, 7 times 9 minus 6 plus 3 divided by 3 squared minus 3. So in this fraction, I'm going to first just simplify my numerator and I'm going to get it down to one number. And then I'll simplify my denominator and get it down to one number. And then I'll put the fraction back together and see if I can simplify one more time. So I have 7 times 9 minus 6 plus 3 for the numerator. So the first thing I need to do is the grouping symbol. 9 minus 6 is 3, but I have to keep the parentheses here because the parentheses are also telling me to multiply. So then I bring down the rest of my problem. Now my problem is 7 times 3 plus 3, so I'm going to multiply. 7 times 3 is 21, plus 3 is 24. So my numerator simplifies to 24. Right now I'll simplify my denominator. My denominator is 3 squared minus 3. I need to do the exponent first. 3 squared is 9. So I have 9 minus 3, which is 6. Now I'll put my denominator back in place. So now I'm going to see what can I do with 24 divided by 6. Well, that simplifies nicely into 4. So my end result is 4. Problem number 3. We have 5 plus 3 times 8 times 10 minus 8. So notice that we have two grouping symbols here. We have a bracket and we have parentheses. So the first thing that you want to do is work on the inside grouping symbol first. So I'm going to calculate 10 minus 8, which is 2. Then I'm going to bring down the rest of the problem, just as it is, keeping the bracket and the parentheses. Now my problem is 5 plus 3 times 8 times 2. So now I need to work within the next grouping symbol. So I have 8 times 2 within that grouping symbol. 8 times 2 is 16. Now remember the bracket was meaning to multiply, so I need to either keep the bracket or write parentheses so that I know to multiply the 3 times the 16. So I'm bringing down the rest of my problem, and now my problem reads 5 plus 3 times 16. Be very careful here. Many students want to add first and then multiply, but order of operations says I need to multiply the 3 times 16, which is 48, then I'll add the 5 to it. So 5 plus 48 is 53. And our last problem, number 4. This is 5 to the third power, or sometimes we'll just say 5 cubed, minus 4 times 11 minus 9 squared. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to work within this grouping symbol. So in this grouping symbol, I have an exponent. So first I need to take care of that 9 squared. It's not negative 9 squared, it's just 9 squared, because that negative is not in parentheses, so it's not going to get squared. So 9 squared is 81, and now I'm just going to bring down the rest of my problem. Remember, I'm just working in my grouping symbol right now. So now within that grouping symbol, I have 4 times 11 minus 81. So 4 times 11 is 44. Then I'll just bring down the rest of my problem. Now I'm still working in that grouping symbol because my goal is to get it down to one number. 44 minus 81 is a negative 37. And I'm going to keep the parentheses here. This time it's because I'm separating the two signs. I'm separating this outside negative from the inside negative. Often when we have two signs, we use parentheses so that to separate them. Now I need to do my exponent, my second exponent. 5 to the third power means 5 times 5 times 5, which is 125. So I have 125 minus a negative 37. Whenever you have this minus minus going on, that changes it into plus. When you subtract a negative, it makes it a plus sign. So my new problem is 125 plus 37, which gives me a result of 162.